Hey everyone, Melanie Muenchinger here, illustrator for Gina K Designs. I am so excited to share my newest set coming out from Gina K Designs on August 31st, 7 p.m. Central. That's Thursday night. This is Fabulous Rose Frame. This is the newest addition to my line of frame sets. I've got this beautiful and ornate rose frame that you can use on your A2 size cards in portrait or landscape style, plus greetings that are going to go right inside that frame for really easy single layer cards, or it's going to be great for layered cards and all of your fun coloring and embossing techniques. Additionally though, I've got this label, and depending on how you stamp this or layer this onto this rose frame, this is going to just open it up to so many different other possibilities and sketches. You might also recognize that this is going to be filling in that fabulous frame, as a two-step stamp, and it's going to work with all those coordinating elements and pieces that I have in Fabulous Frame Fillers and Fabulous Holiday Fillers. Got some really fun plans too for these corners that are going to allow you to make custom rectangle and square frames. What's really going to take this set though to the next level are the die sets that we've planned for this. We've got two different die sets, and this one is going to obviously cut out the large frame and the smaller pieces, plus we've included this beautiful stitch circle, and this is going to work as a mat for some of Gina's different stitch circle sets that she's already got. But this is going to allow you to just pop that up right in the middle. And then we created this fabulous label set. The reason we didn't put them together is because I know a lot of you have the different fabulous frame and filler sets already. So if that's the only thing that you want to get, you're going to have labels that are going to work with that, plus an oval that's going to cut out the center of that fabulous frame, and then a little stitched oval to layer onto it. And there's so many ways that you can put these together. So I'm really excited to show you the different sketches that you can make with these sets. The other products that you're going to need in addition to this stamp set are some ink pads. So I've got the Gina K Black Onyx, the grass green, and the wild dandelion for doing our two-step stamping on those flowers and leaves. Just a few markers on this card. I'm using the Spectrum Noir alcohol markers today. I've got the DG2 and the DG3, and then the GG2 for making some shadows on those petals. Just using some foam squares for layering those layers. I'm going to be using the mini MISTI tool today, or you could use a 4x6 or 6x6 block for that large frame. But the MISTI is great for capturing all that detail and then doing the precision stamping because we're using those dies. Then you're going to need just some cardstock. This is the Gina K Pure Luxury Heavy Base Weight White. It's 4 1/4 by 11 inches scored at 5 1/2. And then you're just going to need some white scraps. You can use the layering weight or the heavyweight base weight for these for the different die cut pieces, which I've already pre-cut just to save a little time. And then I have a small block. I really like that for using doing just the tiny stamps rather than the MISTI. So let's begin by getting this stamped up. You're going to cut out your die cut pieces, so whatever die cutting machine you like to use. For this I use the Cuttlebug. And what I did is I just placed that piece of cardstock that I cut the frame out from onto my MISTI and then secured it with the magnets. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lay this right in. This is going to make it really easy to get that stamp positioned on there. Close the door. Get it pressed down. Open it up. And then we're just going to take our die cut piece and just put it right into that frame. And then we're going to ink up those roses, just making sure we get all that detail in there. But if you don't get it the first time, the MISTI makes it really easy the second time. Let me just make sure that that's fitting properly in there. Okay, there we go. So I just turn that over. So if it looks like it's a little bit off, just flip it over. The die and the way I designed it might not be exactly symmetrical. Okay, and then we're just going to close the door, press all over. Really those middle areas are the ones that tend to not get inked. or not get stamped that first time. Open it up. Beautiful. So let's go ahead and get this colored. And I'm going to show you just on one side, and I have another one that I've colored the whole thing for, but what we're doing, we're just repeating it on the other side. So what I'm doing is I'm just going to lay down just a base layer of this lighter green on the leaves. So this goes very quickly, and then we're just going to just lay down our shadows with the darker green, and then just do some blending with tip-to-tip coloring. And if you want to use more shades of green, or you want to have some open white highlights, you can do that, but I really think this is effective and fast. Okay, so we've already got one whole side of those leaves filled in. Now we're going to go back, and wherever you see the little dots and the contour lines, or wherever you see the flowers overlapping those leaves, that's where you want to add your darker shade. Just where it's up against a petal, you can do those little folds in the middle of the leaf. So we're just basically tracing over the parts that I've already illustrated. And then I like to use the dark green for doing the stems. Those are kind of hidden under all those leaves. Aren't going to have as many highlights. And I can't wait to show you how pretty this is going to be when you flip it around, if you want to do a landscape version of this card instead of portrait. Okay, so we've got all of our shadows on there. And now what we're going to do is, I just want to go back. I'm holding the lighter color in my dominant hand, and the hand that I color with, and I'm just going to lift just a little bit of the darker green off and swirl it into those areas. So going up against the darkest area first, and then working outwards. So laying it right down on top of that shadow that I already drew, and then pulling it out. And you can do more or less blending. I kind of like when it's a little bit blotchier, it looks a little bit more painterly, like you've done a watercolor. So it's done whenever you think it's done. You just want to make sure that you're kind of even with how much you choose to blend just on all the leaves. So I'm just looking to make sure I don't have any hard lines before I move on. Okay. All right, so we've hit all the leaves there, so that's all that I'm going to do on the leaves. Now let's go ahead, and I am going to stamp some centers into these flowers. So you've got two different little centers that work with the large and the small roses. So I'm going to take this solid one, and I'm just going to ink this up in the wild dandelion, and just pop that right into the center of those roses. So you could color this with a marker if you want, but this makes it easy, and then you've got it coordinating exactly with your colored cardstocks. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I just want to add some shadows on these roses. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking this GG2 marker, and I'm just going to go underneath. So again, it's just like tracing. You're just putting a line up next to where I already put it. And you've got those little hatch and contour lines to show you where they go. And then underneath any place that they overlap a leaf or a flower. Okay. And then I like to put them just on those little folds at the outer edge of the petals. Okay. You can do the same thing down here, and then you're going to repeat it on the other side. I just love how romantic this frame is, and it just reminds me of just fairy tales and old storybooks. It can be beautiful for weddings, thank yous, anniversaries, really anything. And then if you want to leave your petals flat, you can, but I really like just doing just a couple quick flicking strokes. You can do one straight out in the middle of each, and then do just a few that follow the curve of that petal. I just like what that adds there. So you can leave that detail out if you want. or you can try it. So it's just a very quick stroke, fast, so that it's nice and smooth, and then it tapers at the end. So that's all the coloring that I do on these. So I'm going to take this out now, and then we're going to work on that label. So here is the one that I have already got onto the card base, and I just secured that with some foam. Now let's go ahead and do our label stamp. So we're going to be stamping this in the grass green. You might have seen me sneak peek this in our MISTI hop the other day. So we've just got our little die cut that we stick right in there. Make sure that's right. Okay. And then I'm going to get my label and just put that right on there. You can put it in the hole, or you can put it on top of the die cut. You just want to make sure that the stamp is clean. And I'm going to press that down, lift it off, put this right back in. And then I just want to make sure that there's no air under there. There actually isn't, but just make sure that it's nice and flat so that you don't pick up and transfer any ink onto your die cut piece. So, oops, I don't want to use the black. You could use the black, but I just like the green because it plays off of the leaves and it's just a softer look, and you're adding more color to your card. So we're going to get this good and inked up. If we don't get a solid impression the first time, though, we can go back, and that's great for these bold images. So press that down, lift it off. Okay, all right. So now what we want to do is I want to show you how many layering possibilities you have here with the frame. So again, we can do maybe this one landscape style today, just to show you a different card. Here was the original one. So this can go on here again. You can lay it out the way that I did here. I got a little bit of ink on there, so I'll just get that off with my sand eraser after. So we've got it layered on like this, but you could also do it centered like this. You could do it to the left. We can put it in the middle, down here, up here, and then all those same possibilities for if you are doing this in a landscape style. So we've got this piece, so we're just going to put some foam on the back of this. And then I want to create this circle. So again, let me show you which ones we're using today. For this particular card, we're using the large frame from the rose, we're using the circle, and then we're using the label. But if you wanted to layer this up even more, you could also add in this oval die. Okay, and oh good, that's going to get covered up by my little rose and my sentiment. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do this in the MISTI again. So I'll take this out. This is the last little bit of stamping that we do, and then we're going to do those little roses. So I'm just going to put this on the top and the bottom. And all of the greetings in here work with this little U. So I'm going to do "You are so loved," but then you could also make "Thank you," "God bless you." Just tried to come up with different sentiments for you that are going to work all year. So "You are so loved." And if you want the U to be a little bit closer to this than the base of the stamp will allow, you can stamp them separately, but I'm going to just stamp them all at once. So we're going to stamp these in the black. Okay, lift that off. And then I've already got one of these little roses stamped, so I just love how pretty these look on the edge of the label. So I'm going to go ahead and just do my other one. So I'm taking off the line art version of this tiny flower. And this one right here. And then I'm just doing that with this little label right here. Okay. Actually, I'm going to do this with that small stamp that I mentioned. Okay, so got the tiny one. And I'm just going to stamp this right in. So this is just a smaller version of that larger rose, so it's going to coordinate perfectly. And then, so you don't have to worry about coloring into those little tiny tight areas of the stamp, I'm going to use these solid pieces that I have, solid leaves that work as 2 steps. So we're going to put in this green right here. And then I'm going to do a little yellow center right there. And then if you want to add just a little bit of gray, you can do that. So I'm going to just put just one little flick on each of these. There. And we'll put one little foam square on the back of each. And these are just going to hug this label. But these are going to be pretty anytime you need just a little something in a corner. Like that and like that. Okay. And then you have to decide which way that you want it going. So I think I'm going to put this going this way. Okay. Just like that. And then we're going to just decide where we want to layer that. So I think I'm going to put it right here. Actually, yeah, I think I'm going to put it right there. And the card's complete. And I never want to spend this much time really cutting. Some people really like to do the fussy cutting. I really have to be in the mood for it. And just like that. So let me know in your comments which layout you prefer, the portrait or the landscape, and which piece of this set you're most excited about in the comments. I'd really appreciate that. Please join us for our release party tomorrow night. I have so many more videos planned for this set. You're just not going to believe what you can do with it, and then all the fun ways you can do those coordinating fillers set from Fabulous Frame. If you just want to use this label on your own for making tags, got a lot of fun future sets planned for it as well. Please visit my blog, Hands, Head, and Heart, for more ideas and inspiration using all of our stamp sets. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching today. God bless.